Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon. Oh, good evening.
Good
Good.
evening. Good
All
evening.
right. Ashley, thanks so much for joining me this evening. So, y'all, today we are talking about the Omaha IMPACT Awards. And this is a really important topic. And I'm so glad that Ashley could join me. So, just a little background about Ashley. I met Ashley, was it last year?
Yeah,
Has it been
I think
last
last year. I think we're
year?
coming up on a year now almost, or a
Okay.
little over, or maybe. I don't know. What day is it even, you
we,
know?
we don't know. But Ashley doesn't even know this. But when I first met her, I was like, you know what? This is somebody that I could actually see working with to some degree. And I did not know to what degree, like what it would be, but I just felt like it should be something. And then when I brought to you, Ashley, the Omaha Impact Awards, you're like, yes, absolutely. Yep.
Yep.
No questions, no hesitations. You started off with wanting to be a sounding board, but I was like, nope, you're in it now. Like
Yes, yes. So
let's do
excited.
this.
No, I just again can't thank you enough even for that conversation and letting me in. So I'm super excited to even be on tonight, but also just to got to have known you over the last year plus or however long it's been. And I'm just so excited for all the light that you bring, as I always say. So yay.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right, y'all. So we're gonna talk to you about the Omaha Impact Awards, and don't let the name fool you. So even though we call this the Omaha Impact Awards, this is something that is within Nebraska. That part is not fooling anybody. Like this is within Nebraska, but it's open to Douglas and Sarpy counties. So this is something that is countywide. And this is an awards recognition for blue collar workers, operational frontline workers. So we're talking about janitorial staff, we're talking about maintenance crews, we're talking about housekeeping, we're talking about gas station attendants, daycare workers. I mean, I don't know. Actually, I know I'm missing a
No,
ton of
that's I was
people.
gonna say I feel like you listed all the ones that we say are so often forgotten about. Those people I say that the people that you see on your regular Hy-Vee run or bakers for our locals here that you
Yes.
just really get to know these people and they make an impact. I always say inside and outside their four walls. And so yes, again, those daycare workers, those frontline workers, blue collar workers, people again that so often are missed when we think about the overarching impact that they make, again, not only to their individuals on their team, but society, communities that they contribute to, all of the above. So
Yes, absolutely. So we definitely want to change that. And it's starting here, starting. It's starting here.
now.
With the Omaha Impact Awards. So the reason why there's a couple of whys, but let's start off with the gap that we've seen. So I know for me, as I started having these conversations with different people, whether they were part of school districts or worked in hospitality or whatever that industry was, there was this constant theme that there are a certain demographic of workers or professionals that aren't getting that celebrated praise. And a part of it is the proximity that they have to those who are putting on these recognition events, or even awards, whether they're internally or outside of that. And then the other part I feel like is when we talk about some of these jobs, there sometimes there is no end result, like there is no outcome, there is no project. It is the daily, how do we keep things running,
Mhm.
type of jobs. And so there is no end result. And because of that, I feel like a lot of times these roles go overlooked. And I have not seen an event like this before where someone is saying, hey, these are the people that we want. Like we want the blue collar workers, we want the factory line workers to say, hey, we appreciate every single thing that you're doing. We see the impact that you're making in your day to day. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, you had something, you want to add something?
No, I was gonna say I'm just in agreement with that all. I think just when we started talking about this, it's those people that again, as you said, maybe we're not it's not contributing to our huge okay, our OKRs, or we can't put it into our demographics to say here's how much money we made from this, but maybe
Right.
people within our organization really said, here's the people that made people want to come back the next day. Here's the people that actually allowed customers to vent, to have that extra smile, to have that extra helping hand. And again, they so often go without recognition because it's like, well, it's just what you're supposed to do. It's, the obligation. But even though these are such obligated roles, doesn't mean that they shouldn't be recognized again for the overall impact that they bring and the special, unique characteristics that they bring of just humor and creativity and
Yes.
whatever and positivity and all of it. So,
Yeah, absolutely. It's the kind of job where you don't really notice it until it's not there. And you're just like,
yeah,
oh my gosh, the
yeah.
customer service is terrible. But what about when it's great?
Yes, yes. And it's like customer service culture, all of that is, it's
Yeah,
a hot button. And when you really can't take your finger off of it. And so you don't notice it when the person says hi to you every single time you walk into your regular gas station, and they know they know whatever drink you get, or that you get how many, much money on the pump, and whatever the case may be, until that person either moves on or quits or whatever the case might be. And you're like, oh, dang, like now this
right.
interaction is different. This person doesn't owe me as much. And so,
Yeah.
yes, like all of those things I always say matter, and they come back to you and you remember them 10 years down the road. And so those are the people that they make an impact. And so we want to recognize them for that. So,
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's a big part of professional development too. When we think about that recognition piece, like part of it is if we're talking, and one thing I absolutely like, what is my core is workplace value, but I feel like it's hard to talk about how people can bring value to the workplace if we don't honor and celebrate the value that people are bringing right where they are. Like we're not
yeah.
I think that there is a balance between ambition and contentment, and a lot of people see them as being, oh, they're opposites, and you can't be content and still want more. But no, you can. Like you can
Hmm.
absolutely celebrate where you are now, and this awards brunch is part of that. It's part of celebrating the now where people are. And I think as we move into kind of our own personal stories as to why, because I mean anyone can put on an event and say, "Oh yeah, we see the gap too." But I think for both of us, it goes a little bit deeper. I know for me, there are several reasons. I come from a blue collar family. My dad, he used to be I say used to be because he doesn't really do it anymore. Like a carpenter, he did like plumbing, he did like all the stuff. And I would see him come home and his back was hurting. I was like, oh, I don't think I want to do that. like like when
Hmm.
I get older, I don't think that that's for me. So that was
Yeah.
part of it. And then the other piece of that is when I think about my grandmother who has passed away, my mom's mom. Like one of the things she had 5 kids, and she would just always have these different mixed match jobs where she really wasn't getting paid a lot of
Hmm.
money, but she also really wasn't getting celebrated and recognized for all of the work she was doing. I'm talking about they were living in one bedroom apartments, didn't have electricity, didn't have running water, but
Hmm.
no one's going to tell me that what she did in her work of helping people didn't matter and it didn't
Hmm.
deserve to be recognized, celebrated, regardless of not having a degree or not having a certification. Her actions and the impact that she made meant absolutely everything. And
Hmm.
so that for me is my driving force because this is, and I'm not saying that everyone who works in blue collar work that this is the type of like they're in a one bedroom with no running water, but for
Yes.
me, but for me that speaks volumes and to the dedication and the commitment that she made to her work because she wanted to make sure
Mhm.
that she took pride in it and that it was seen as so, even if she didn't get celebrated for you. So, what about you? Because you didn't have to say yes to this project. You could have said, "Ah, no, thanks," but you
Yeah.
did. So, I know that there's a tie-in for you as well.
Yeah, I love that. And I love how you end on that. You know, she had a pride for it. And maybe
Yeah.
if that pride wasn't recognized, but she had that pride. And that's really, you know, I resonate with that hardcore with both of my grandparents from both my sides, but really I grew up with my grandparents on my mother's side as well, here in town in Omaha. And my grandparents immigrated during World War II, and they came over. And my grandmother worked at Kmart in South Omaha, and my
Yeah.
grandfather worked in the stockyards and worked his way up. And my husband now owns his own business and, you know, small business himself and an employee. And so it's one of those things where you say, like, you see their, you know, their back hurting, and they just deal with it night and day, but they love it. And so they take pride in their work. They want to make sure that, you know, if the person calls and wants to do something special for you know, an anniversary or a birthday, you know, they're going to help them out, because that's what it's about, and helping out the community and being able to, you know, sponsor a gift basket or whatever the case may be, to really make sure that we're still giving back. And that was a huge part of how I grew up, of, again, you know, growing up with my grandparents in South Omaha, of giving back to your community and having pride in what you do. And to your point, LaPora, it's not even just, again, the blue collar work that we do, and while work, you know, working at our hourly jobs, but even, you know, what we do for the community outside, and the
Right.
churches, or our extracurricular, and all of those things. I think that's why I just felt so drawn to it. I'm a huge proponent of, you know, even going back to our first point, to say, just because someone doesn't have a super flashy title or flashy salary, doesn't mean they don't want to be appreciated for what they do. And again, a lot of the times they haven't been given the chance to be appreciated, because there
Right.
isn't something like this for them to be, you know, recognized for, or to put their name out there. And so I think so often we forget, a lot of the times, the people that are working these roles and doing, I always say, like, this, you know, backbreaking work at times, go forgotten. And that no more, that stops now. So I'm so excited to again be involved in this. And like I said, I'm just so tied to it with my grandparents and my own husband and my own family, and just excited to show everyone that every single one of us has worth in this world, and every little thing that we do matters. Maybe not on the biggest scale. And sometimes it's like the biggest scale doesn't always matter. It's those little
Right.
individual moments that really make it memorable. And that's what you come back to 10 years later. So,
Yeah, no, that's perfectly said. I love that. It's and that's I feel like that's how we want to change the recognition culture,
yeah,
is kind of expanding, not even kind of, definitely expanding what we recognize. Like,
yeah,
are we just looking at project based, or are we looking at something that kind of goes to the heart of it? And that kind of brings, like, why Omaha, out of all of the places, why start here? And I think a big part of that, at least from what I've seen, so I can say this from an outsider perspective coming in, and you let me know, as someone who has grown up in Omaha and has generations of Omaha here, if you feel the same, with Omaha literally being like the heart of the United States, right? In all of the different positions that are heavy on the blue collar side, my question would be, why not start the Impact Awards here, the Omaha Impact Awards here, with Douglas County and Sarpy County, with being able to recognize all of these individuals who are just doing some great work, and I feel like are representative of so many other different places throughout the United States. But there's just something special here, and to your point of something that you mentioned earlier, with it being tied to the community aspect. I have never I'm a military spouse, so we moved around a lot, and I have never seen a an area that has so many community ties. And what I mean by that is, like, not just the networking piece, but it's like,
yeah,
like, if you volunteer, or if you're part of this organization, you're gonna find somebody who's volunteering. Like, it always goes
mm,
back to Omaha. It always goes back to, how can I improve where I live? How can I improve where I've grew up? Like, how can I give back? And I just think that piece just has really jumped out at me. Every place that we've lived, it has its own little special thing that makes it special. But for Omaha, it really is community driven. It really is, how can
yeah.
each person matter? That's what I've seen in my short time here.
Oh yeah, it's like the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon, but like the 7 degrees of Omaha, you know? I mean, it was even mentioned in Wicked. I always tell people they're the guys from Wicked, but or from Omaha, excuse me. But yes, I am so with you. And I think when we think about Omaha too, and just growing up here and thinking about Omaha and the bigger picture is there is a ton of really big names here. Berkshire and Hathaway, TD Ameritrade, Union Pacific, Nebraska Medicine. Oh, we have huge names here. But
Yeah.
when we think about the recognition for the people who built this city, who built it, if you will, from the ground up, who, do those 9 to 5 jobs, as you say, and, really embed our day to day jobs of like filling the paper machine, making sure our shelves are stocked, making sure that our bathrooms are clean. All of those things impact the way that we can grow those really
Yeah.
big names here in Omaha. And so I think this is a really good opportunity, not just to recognize the individuals that are doing this amazing, impactful work, but also for companies to actually start to say, hey, not only can we recognize things on a bigger scale, but look at the opportunity that we have to really recognize the people that truly make our company. As we talk about those just bigger companies here and what they've done, it's amazing. And so I think this is an opportunity to even extend that to say, and here's even one more thing that Omaha does above and beyond to really take care of not just their people but their community, and show that recognition in just a really special and creative, unique way.
Oh, that's perfect. Love it. Thank you so much. So, okay. All right, y'all. So we're gonna wind down here. And we're gonna just talk a little bit about the logistics of this event. We haven't told you the when, but if you're still with us or if you're catching the replay, we want to be sure to share all of this with you. So this
Yes.
is an awards brunch,
Yes.
essentially in the first year, and this will be one of many to celebrate the blue collars and frontline operational workers. Nominations don't open until April 1st. And no, that is not a joke.
It's not a joke.
The nominations will open on April 1st. But if you are part of an organization and you want to get involved sooner, there are some opportunities to get involved sooner. I've dropped the link here. But the ways to get involved is number one, honestly, is just following along on the mission and being able to share that with others,
Mhm.
saying, hey, hey, there's this event that's happening in Omaha, Nebraska. It's for Douglas and Sarpy counties. And this is an opportunity for us to celebrate the blue collar and front operational line workers on that type of scale.
Yeah.
And then also nominate whenever that nomination windows open on May 1st. Be sure to, hey, if you know a few people, nominate nominate those people who you think are deserving. And then you can absolutely reach out. When you reach out, we have sponsorship opportunities that are available. We have a selection committee that's already in the works. But really, just sharing the message, I feel like is the biggest portion that we
Yeah.
need. We need your push for it. We need other people
Yes.
to have that connection piece and to see why this is something that is important for this community. Go ahead, Ashley.
No, I was going to say we need them to get those people that that just make you feel good, especially right now. If you're watching this in the next 30 days during the crazy holiday season and thinking, "Oh
Yes.
my gosh, what am I going to do with my life?" Just in those moments, breathing and saying, "I got to recognize this person who went the extra mile for me, or that always has a smile on their face, or the
Yes.
guy that's always taking those heavy carts through the snow and through the slush and just doesn't say a thing about it and is always, just helping out." So
Yes.
yes, like you said, I just want everyone to really push the message out there because I think it's such an impactful one. Even if you're not sure if you should nominate or not nominate, please reach out, or even just buy a ticket and attend. Maybe check it out this first year and kind of see what it's all about. But I really recommend everyone to at least check out those nominations. Think about those people that really make those daily impacts, those monthly, quarterly impacts on you,
Yeah.
and just seem to stick out top of your brain.
Absolutely. I think about there's this one guy. Whenever I get a sandwich, he just always just makes me want to get like an extra sandwich. I don't know, like
I
just
love
such
it.
and what I mean by that is he's just so welcoming, just so understanding, and just so excited. And somebody be like, making a sandwich? Yes, with
Yeah.
making a sandwich. But that's the kind of stuff that is just, it was, it really, and I don't know there's probably a principle behind this, but there's something about when we open our eyes to see something, we start to see it over and over. And so in this
Yes.
case, when we open our eyes to see how people can make a difference and how people can make us feel about ourselves or make other people feel about themselves, that's when we start to see it. My son's bus driver, he always waves and says hello. Like he doesn't have to do that. Like we've had other bus drivers, you know what I mean? But that's the
Mhm.
kind of stuff that it has a lasting impact for the good. And that I
Mhm.
did not mean, I know you mentioned Wicked earlier. This was not a play on Wicked.
7 degrees of Omaha, baby.
Oh gosh. Okay, so y'all, the event is September 19th, 2026. So you have lots of time to help us spread the
Yes.
word.
Yes.
And it will be at the Thompson Alumni Center and starting at 10 a.m. Going to be a
Yeah.
brunch. It's going to be a
Yep.
good time.
It's going to be a really good time. I'm super excited. It's again, it'll be a really good time to just really recognize those amazing people in our lives. So again, thank you so much, LaPora, for even letting me help out, for letting me be involved. I am just a cheerleader for this entire thing, and I'm super excited to see it just come to fruition. Oh my gosh, just super excited to come full circle.
It's late, y'all.
Fruition. God, it's been a day.
Oh gosh. Okay. And I think I started off with a tongue twister as well.
Yeah.
All right. It happens. All right, y'all. So I know that this live stream was a little bit different, but it was very much needed because this is something that is going to be a very big part of what I stand for, of what I represent, of what I feel that needs to come to the forefront. I know Ashley agrees when it comes to we got to expand who we recognize, and this event is going to be the start of much more, much more
Yes.
to come.
Yes. This is only the beginning. This is only the
Yes.
beginning of Yellow Brick Road. Okay. I had to do one more time. Okay.
All right, y'all. So as always, remember to, well, number one, enjoy your weekend, the rest of your weekend, but always remember to stay adding value. Have a